I was sitting alone in the loft of my parents' old house. The kind of quiet that makes your ears ring had settled over everything. It felt heavy, like the silence had its own weight. I thought I was alone, but I wasn't sure. I sat there on the couch, scrolling through my phone, not really paying attention to anything. Then I heard it. A whisper, a soft voice. It sounded like a girl. "Dad?" My whole body froze. My heart dropped into my stomach. The voice was close, like someone was standing right behind me. I turned around so fast it made my neck ache, but nothing was there, just the dusty air and that strange humming silence again. I called out, "Hello?" But there was no answer. I got up and walked through the house, checking every room, every corner. All the windows were locked, the doors too. I even opened the closets. I was alone, completely alone. Still, I knew what I had heard. It wasn't a dream or my imagination. It sounded like a real child's voice. Back in the loft, I tried to settle down, but that's when I noticed something strange. Right near the couch was a cold spot. I held out my hand, and the air there was freezing. The rest of the room was warm, but that one spot felt like a refrigerator left open too long. Then, just as I started to step back, I saw something in the mirror. A shape, small, a shadow that looked like a little girl standing behind me. I turned around quickly, but no one was there. The cold air stayed. I never forgot that voice, or that shadow. Years later, after my daughters were born, the memory hit differently. It felt like more than just a moment, like a message. And sometimes I still wonder, was it really just a message, or something still waiting to be seen? It was late evening. My friend and I were driving through a quiet neighborhood street. The sky was dim, but not fully dark. The light made strange shadows appear. We weren't talking much. The music was playing softly. I looked ahead and saw something strange. In the middle of the road was an upside-down train engine. It was smaller than a real one, but looked real. It floated just above the road. It didn't move. It just stayed there. My stomach dropped. Before I said anything, my friend whispered, "Did you see that upside-down train?" Chills ran down my arms. I nodded slowly. We said nothing more. When we got closer, it was gone. All we saw was an old rusty bus stop sign. No train, no tracks, no sound, just silence. But the air felt heavy and hard to breathe. I checked my rearview mirror. I saw something that scared me. A pale figure was sitting in the back seat. Its body looked strange. Its eyes glowed faint red. It stared right at me. I gasped and turned around fast. No one was there. My friend asked what happened. I said, "Nothing." I didn't want to sound crazy, but the air in the car stayed cold. It felt like a freezer. My friend noticed it too. We checked the vents. They were all off. When I got home, I looked at the back seat again. No one was there, but one seatbelt was still fastened. To this day, we both remember the train, its size and its shape. The silence stays with us, and sometimes, when I drive down that road at night, my rear-view mirror fogs up like someone is breathing right behind me. My flight to Japan took off just after midnight. A friend had dropped me at the airport around 8 in the evening, and by a few minutes past 12, I was already in the air. I remember taking a sleeping pill sometime after 1 and drifting off to the soft sound of the engines. It felt peaceful high above the clouds, miles from anything. Back home, my roommate had a normal night. He finished work around 11, made something quick to eat, and spent time with his music set up in the living room. He said that around 1 in the morning, he heard the front door open clear as day. Footsteps came in slow and steady, like someone trying not to wake anyone. He said it was me. He assumed my flight had been delayed or maybe cancelled, so he called my name, but I didn't answer. When he walked into the living room, he saw me sitting on the couch, my back to him, not moving, just sitting there staring straight ahead. He said it was strange, but maybe I was tired or upset, so he stepped closer. He told me I turned my head slightly, but not enough for him to see my face. Then I stood up without saying a word, walked over to the desk and sat down in front of the laptop, but the screen was dark, no light, no power. He said I began typing anyway, fingers moving across the keys like I was writing something that didn't need a screen. Then I stopped moving. After a few seconds, I leaned back into the couch like I was sinking into it, melting almost. And then I laughed, but the sound didn't come from my mouth. He said it came from somewhere in the room, like it floated, like it was watching him. I was in the air when that happened, sound asleep and thousands of miles away. Whatever came home that night, it wasn't me. Sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night and everything feels off, not just quiet or dark, wrong, like something is in the room that shouldn't be. It only happens when my bedroom door is open, not wide, just barely cracked enough to see the hallway outside. And every time, without fail, I see the same thing. The stair rail's pole. It stands right at the top of the stairs. In daylight, it's nothing, just wood and shadow. But in that strange hour between dreams and waking, it looks like a person, not moving, not breathing, just standing there, watching me. I try to tell myself it's only the dark playing tricks on my eyes, but sometimes, when I stare long enough, I see it shift, only a little, just enough to make me feel like it knows I'm looking. And then there's the shape at the foot of my bed, right near my legs. I always think it's my dog curled up the way he used to be, but my dog died last year. Still, I feel warmth there. I see the rise of what could be his back under the blanket, but it never moves, until it does. One night I tried not to blink. I thought if I kept my eyes open, I'd prove it was all in my head. But the figure at the stairs tilted its head slowly, like it was curious. I blinked, and when I opened my eyes, it was gone. But I felt something move past the door. I heard the soft groan of the floor near my bed. Now I keep the door closed tight every night. But sometimes, no matter how sure I am, I still wake up to find it open again. Just a crack. Just enough. It was just another quiet evening. Nothing strange or out of the ordinary. My sister and I were sitting in the living room, the TV playing softly in the background. The sun had just slipped below the rooftops, and that blue-grey light filled the room, the kind that makes everything feel still and slow. We weren't talking, just watching some random show without really paying attention. Then suddenly my sister stopped moving completely. Her eyes locked on the window behind me and she whispered, "Do you see that?" Her voice sounded wrong, like she was forcing it through fear. I turned around asking, "See what?" "That black thing she said on the street." I looked but didn't see anything, just the same scene. Trees, cars, an empty sidewalk. The light outside didn't change, but something in the room did. Everything felt different. The TV went completely silent. No static, no pop, just gone, and the house went still. No ticking clock, no humming fridge. Even our breathing felt muted, like the air had swallowed every sound. My sister's voice broke through the quiet. She said, "He's coming closer. He's walking straight toward us," and something in her voice made my skin go cold. I turned again, and this time I saw it too. A figure tall and dark, no face, nothing to show who or what it was, just a shape, a shadow in the form of a man, walking slowly straight down the middle of the street, heading for our house, step by step. Then everything snapped back. The TV came on. The fridge hummed. The air felt normal. My sister blinked like she had just woken up, and the street was empty again. We never spoke of it after that. But sometimes when the sky turns blue-grey and the world gets quiet, I look out that same window and I swear I see something waiting just beyond the light. It was supposed to be a normal night. I had left work a little early to go out for a birthday dinner. I stopped by the house around 8 just to grab some flowers I had forgotten. Nothing felt strange. Everything looked the same. The street was quiet and the house stood just like I'd left it. But then my office phone rang and everything changed. The caller ID made my stomach drop. It said the call was coming from my house, the same house I'd just left, the one I lived in alone. My boyfriend was with me. He saw it too. We looked at each other, not sure what to think. I answered the call, and there was nothing. No voice, no static, not even the sound of breathing, just complete silence, like something was there but didn't need to speak. We rushed back to the house. My chest felt tight, and every turn on the road made my anxiety worse. When we arrived, everything looked untouched. The door was locked, the alarm was still set. My cats were curled up on the couch, asleep, like nothing had happened. But the air inside the house felt wrong, heavier and quieter, like the walls were listening. The house was old, built in 1927. I used to joke that it was haunted, but in a harmless way. Little things would happen. Lights left on, doors slightly open. I once found a place setting at the table with a plate, a glass, and 2 butcher knives placed neatly where the fork and knife should have been. The chair was pulled out like someone had been sitting there. I told myself it was just weird, nothing to worry about. But after the call from inside my empty house, I started to wonder if the thing living with me had never been friendly at all. Maybe it was just waiting for me to notice. It happened a few years ago, but my mum still brings it up now and then. She laughs when she tells it, but it's not the kind of laugh that means she's amused. It's nervous, like she's trying to convince herself it wasn't real. She had come home late after a long shift, probably around 6:30. The house was dim and quiet, like it usually is after sunset. As she walked through the door, she saw me, or at least she thought she did. She said I stepped out of my bedroom and crossed the hallway just a few feet in front of her. I didn't look at her, didn't say a word, just turned and headed toward the kitchen or maybe the bathroom. She wasn't sure. She called my name once, then again, but I didn't answer. I didn't even flinch. She figured maybe I had headphones on, or maybe I was just tired, so she went to her room to change. A few minutes later, she came back out, and something felt off. The house was completely silent. The kitchen lights were off. My bedroom door was shut tight. She knocked and waited. No answer. She opened the door and found the room empty. The bed was still made, the lights were off, and nothing had been moved. Confused, she checked the garage and saw my bike was gone. That's when her stomach dropped. She called my phone. I answered right away, laughing. I was at a friend's house across town, and I had been there all day. When she told me what she saw, I didn't know what to say. She swears it looked exactly like me. Same height, same way of moving, but something about it felt wrong. She said it didn't walk, it glided like it was pretending to be me. She doesn't like being home alone anymore, and honestly, I don't blame her. Neither do. I was about 11, and we were playing in the backfield behind my house. It was me, my little sister, and 2 friends from the neighborhood. The day felt slow and warm, like most early summer afternoons. The grass was tall and soft under our feet, and a few cows wandered lazily near the fence. Beyond them was the motorway humming steadily in the distance like a quiet machine that never turned off. We were running around laughing, chasing each other near the fence line when everything stopped. It didn't fade or slow down. It just cut out. 1 second the cows were mooing and cars were humming, and the next everything was gone. It was like someone turned the world off with a switch. We all froze. None of us moved or spoke. The silence was too thick to break. It felt heavy in the air, like it was pushing down on us from every side. I remember feeling a strange heat across my skin, not from the sun, but like the air itself had changed. My arms tingled, and I could see the hairs standing straight up. It lasted maybe 10 seconds, but it felt much longer. The silence wasn't just quiet. It was hollow and deep, like everything around us had vanished. There was no wind, no birds, no buzzing from insects, just stillness and pressure, like something invisible had stepped into our space and was watching. Then the sound rushed back all at once. The cows bolted and cried out. The motorway came back into focus. The field looked the same, but nothing felt normal. We told our parents, but they brushed it off and said it was just the weather. But it didn't feel like weather. It felt like something else had noticed us. And for those 10 seconds it was listening. It happened late one afternoon, when the sun was dipping behind the trees and the light was turning soft and orange. I was outside talking to a group of friends, and everything felt normal. We were laughing and telling stories, and one of them, a girl I had known for years, was standing right behind me. I could hear her voice and feel the warmth of her presence, like she was right there, so close it felt comforting. Someone called my name from the side, and I turned to respond, just a normal reaction. But as I turned my head, I glanced behind me, expecting to see her still there, smiling, maybe laughing again. But she was gone, completely gone, and in her place was nothing. Not air, not trees, not light, just a deep black void. It wasn't shadow, it wasn't darkness from the fading sun. It looked like the world had been cut open, and this hole was left behind, like someone took a knife to reality. The air turned cold in an instant, and the sounds around me just disappeared. No wind, no birds, no footsteps. It felt like I had stepped out of the world into something else, something that should not exist. It only lasted a few seconds, but it felt endless. And when I looked again, she was back, standing there laughing like nothing had happened, like I imagined it, but I hadn't. I asked her where she went. She looked confused and said she never moved, said she had been there the whole time, but I know what I saw, or maybe what I didn't see. For those seconds she wasn't there, or maybe something else was, and now I can't turn around without feeling that fear again, like something is waiting behind me, like the void could open again any time. I was about 7 when it happened. I was at a friend's house playing in the backyard, running around like kids always do. The sun was out, the grass was dry, and everything felt normal. Around my neck, I wore a cloth cord with a bronze medallion I had gotten from a Renaissance fair. It wasn't expensive, but I loved it and wore it every day since. As I was sprinting, I tripped over something I didn't see what it was and hit the ground hard. My hands scraped against the dirt, and the medallion flew off, landing a few feet ahead of me. I pushed myself up, brushed off my knees, and looked toward the necklace, but then I froze. Something was wrong. The medallion was sinking. It wasn't falling into a crack or slipping into a hole. It was just sinking straight into the ground. The dirt beneath it looked solid, but the metal slowly disappeared like it was being pulled under. The round shape went first, then the cord followed, sliding into the earth as if the ground was swallowing it. I couldn't move. I just stood there watching as the world went quiet. The backyard had been loud just moments before, with birds and laughter, but now it was silent, like the air had thickened around me just before the last bit of the cord vanished. I lunged forward, trying to grab it. I barely touched the end with my fingers, but it slipped away too fast. I searched the ground for 10 minutes, digging with a stick and pressing my hands into the soil, but the ground was hard and smooth. No cracks, no holes, no sign of anything. It was like the necklace never existed. I never saw it again, but sometimes I dream about that spot, like something is still under there, waiting for someone else to trip.